Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I'm here to talk about fight number 5 or whatever, and this is an awesome fight. Another one that could be on the co-headliner of a fight night card. Or if you throw Patty Pimblett in there as the fucking special guest referee, sure, it could headline a pay-per-view. But anyway, Saeed Nurmagomedov is 16-2. He's fighting Kakhramonov, Saidyokub Kakhramonov, who's 10-2. Kakhramonov's 2-0 in the UFC. Nurmagomedov's 5-1 in the UFC. This is a really interesting fight because I think both fighters have an incredibly high ceiling, incredibly high. I mean, the loser of this fight could still be a champion in my eyes. Kakhramonov is only 2-0 in the UFC, but it's a very impressive 2-0. He made his debut against Trevin Jones, who's a guy that's difficult to dominate, and he didn't dominate him. It was a close fight up until the finish. And then Saidyokub jumped on a guillotine, and choked him out, I think, at the very end of the fight. And it was just an incredible performance from Kakhramonov, for making his debut and having that cardio and finding that sub victory over a guy who's historically very tough to put away. And he's fought good competition, too. That was a feather in his cap. Really nice win for Kakhramonov. And again, getting that sub was nice. Then he goes on to fight Ronnie Lawrence, and he did to Ronnie Lawrence what I thought Ronnie Lawrence was going to do to him. He dominated him, ripped him to the mat, 100 times, and kept him there. Maybe it was fewer than 100 times, but it was takedowns, cardio, pressure, relentlessness. He looked fucking awesome in that fight, and Ronnie Lawrence is a guy who is a very good fighter. No matter how his UFC career plays out, and no matter what you think of him, he's a really good fighter, and that was a very impressive win. He's fighting Saeed Nurmagomedov, who is 5-1 in the UFC. He's only got 2 losses in his 18 professional fights, and they both come via decision to really good fighters. Raoni Barcelos inside the UFC, and Magomed Bibulatov outside the UFC. And Bibulatov is a former UFC fighter, in case you don't know. But they were both largely due to grappling. And even then, Saeed, he seems tough to dominate. He's indomitable. That Bibulatov fight was a little more dominant. He achieved the mount towards the end and was working on the ground. But Saeed kept working, kept shrimping out and defending himself, and he didn't stop moving. And I thought, you got to look to his losses because there's only a few of them. But in defeat, he still looks pretty damn good. And the Barcelos fight, he lost a positional battle. And I'm sure that spinning back kick that he threw is still haunting him because that's the reason why he lost. He threw a spinning back kick, and Barcelos got in on his hips and never got off. And still, Barcelos did work him over in round 3. I thought he was the better fighter, but Saeed is tough to dominate. And he did have a fight with Justin Scoggins way back when, which was a bad decision in my opinion. Even though Saeed won the stat battle, he lost the fight to Justin Scoggins. But Scoggins is a very unique opponent, incredibly unique. He's like one of those Wonder Boy types. And I don't know what happened to Scoggins since then. But in the UFC, when he was around, I remember thinking his ceiling was championship. So that didn't pan out, obviously, which is why you should trust this channel. I'll fucking give you all the hottest bets. But anyway, Saeed is tough, never been defeated. And even though he's had some fights that weren't too exciting, a lot of his, he's had some really exciting wins, some impressive wins. No more impressive than his last one over Cody Stamann, where he just went through him, choked him in a minute. And that was fucking awesome. He's also got wins over Douglas Silva de Andrade, Ricardo Ramos, Mark Striegel. But either way, Saeed, I think this fight comes down to, wrestling. If there is going to be a wrestling battle, that's going to determine who the winner is. But otherwise, it's, the striking battle. Kakhramonov moving forward. He's got a really tight stance, and he throws good hooks. And he's got incredible pressure. And Saeed Nurmagomedov, he's a little more light on his feet. He's a little more versatile, I want to say. He's a striker. And can win a fight from the outside, backing up. Kakhramonov was defeated twice, by the way. I don't know if I got into this. He was defeated twice. Once by Umar Nurmagomedov in the PFL by a pretty close decision, but, Umar clearly won it. And once by flying knee in round 3 to a guy named Pipe Vargas. I haven't seen Pipe Vargas knock him out, but the fact that it was a flying knee has me saying it's probably, not a cardio issue. And as far as his chin, the fact that it was a flying knee has me forgiving the knockout a little bit, because flying knees can knock anyone out. So I don't know if Kakhramonov's compromised at all. I don't think he's compromised in any way, chin or cardio. But, he is the only guy who's finished, so it's something you have to look to. But I'm not thinking there's a finish in this fight. I'm thinking it goes to a decision. And I'm thinking Said Nurmagomedov outpoints Kakhramonov. It's going to be tough to do. He might have to wrestle, which, Kakhramonov's a good wrestler. He's a Sambo champion. So, overall his grappling, but, is pretty strong. It's going to be there for him. But Said Nurmagomedov's a talented guy, and I think he's got more ways to win. I think he can win the point battle, even though he can lose it. Kakhramonov's got the forward pressure, and he's got a good striking game, it seems like. Tight stance, throws good hooks. But Nurmagomedov is the better outside fighter, and when he wants to be a ground fighter, he's a pretty damn good one. So I'm taking Nurmagomedov to win by decision. I've got it at plus 210. I think that's a juicy enough prop. If you felt the other way about it, Kakhramonov by decision is plus 190. Maybe you just bet on fight goes the distance. I don't know. But no, I think Said's going to win this fight. His money line is minus 115. They're even. But I'm pretty sure it goes to a decision, and that's why I sided with my pick via decision. Plus 210, Said Nurmagomedov. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Check out my other videos and comment below. Let me know about whatever you're thinking about.